And I don't think Becca's gonna make it again, because Andrew,
Okay.
doesn't get home.
Yeah. Oh, so Gail, you have a couple of blank Zendalas. Perfect. Great. Either one of those will be terrific.
I do too.
Perfect. If you have the translucent one, we can play with that. If not, I mean, when I was practicing today, I was just on white and gray. I was even tangling on the back of a tile because I didn't want to
I have
waste.
a gray and a white and a tan.
I think gray would be nice.
Micah,
Yeah.
which way would you consider better? The little curved conish on the top, or the
It'll flatten out.
it'll flatten out? All right, I'll put it down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. For some reason they do, if there's a little humidity, the translucent ones curl a bit, but they'll flatten out. Um, let's see. And other tools, I probably have to go over this again as other people are joining. If you have your colored jelly roll, that might be fun. Your two gray pens, the light gray and the dark gray that we've been enjoying. If you have a black micron, you might want that. You want a tortillon, a pencil, your white charcoal, maybe, depending on what you're working on, what surface. You know, all the things.
And
again, if you don't have any, if you just have a black and a pencil and a tortillon, you will be all set. So ideally, we're working on a Zendala, not a pre-strung. It could be a translucent, it could be a tan, it could be a white, a gray. Hi, Amy. Hi, Meg. Let's see if I can get everyone in my window so I can see you all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That's everyone.
So we had another gray, right?
Well, I'm not sure. I've gotten myself a little confused about what I gave you all. So
Okay, well, I'm there, confused. But let me see what I've got. I've got a million colors, and I did buy something to organize them, and then I realized after I did that it wasn't the best idea.
A gray Zendala, a gray round one is great. A translucent one would be fun. Tan. Megan, Amy, do you have what you need? Are you all set?
Hi, yeah, we're all set. We've got the translucent circles.
Awesome, perfect, great. Enid, you good? Yeah? Okay, fabulous. John, you good? Awesome. Okay,
yes.
Rebecca, I know, has a ton of stuff. Nan has a ton of stuff, so I'm not gonna worry about you guys. Marcia, you're all set? Great. Okay, so I think we're ready to dive in. You can see all the tools. A black pen if you have it, the two grays that we've been working with, your colored jelly roll if you have it on hand, if not, it doesn't matter. Your pencil, a white charcoal maybe, and a tortillon. We're gonna experiment and play. I actually haven't done this tangle on the translucent Zendala yet, so we're gonna see how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mute everyone. And let's get ourselves settled in for a bit. So make yourself comfortable, feet flat on the floor. You can close your eyes. Let's take some deep breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth slowly. Letting go of the day. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Thinking back on your day, think about a little gift, something beautiful that happened. Could be a pretty cloud or a flower. Could be an interaction with a person that was unexpectedly delightful. Could be something that you've been looking forward to that has finally arrived or happened. Hold that with you. Bring that little bit of happiness into your tangling tonight. And then on the other side of that, think of something that was an irritation, a frustration, a struggle. Think of how it made you feel, how you chose to handle it. Take a good look at it. And then with your next exhalation, breathe it out and let it go. If you can, leave it be for right now. You don't need it with you at this moment. As you continue to breathe, you can check in with your body. Any neck rolls or shoulder shrugs or a twist in your chair or stretching your hands, rolling your ankles. Anything you need to do to release tension, center yourself, ground yourself. Our tangle tonight will require focus. Be patient with yourself. Take your time. And know that this is a practice. We call it a Zentangle practice. I did this tangle no less than 4 times before bringing it to you this evening. I'm still figuring it out myself, but it's very fun. And the more you do it, the more you want to do it. So just keep with it. Remember that ugly duckling phase that all tiles go through. I promise you, you'll have a moment this evening where you feel that way. But we're on a journey together. And it is about our time spent walking that path, not necessarily about the destination or the finished product. So let's enjoy the ride. Let's explore together. And when you're ready, open your eyes and we'll begin. Okay. So I'm going to move my tools aside, just holding onto my black 01. This tangle is a variation of the tangle Elish. You may remember it from years ago. I don't do it all that often, but it's a very nice, fun, sort of woven sort of tangle. And then in this recent project pack that Zentangle put out, they're working with sort of blossoming and organic tangles. So they turned Elish, which is called that because it's normally shaped like a cursive L. They turned Elish into sort of petals of a flower and that are woven together. So it's very, very pretty and very fun to do once you get the hang of it. So
Micah, I'm sorry, we were late. What are we using? What is the tile? I mean,
if you have a
round,
translucent, if you have a translucent Zendala,
okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes,
Okay, terrific. So we're going to dive right in. We don't really need a string tonight. I'm going to make a dot center-ish, just a tiny one, just like a a marker to sort of center ourselves. And the first shape that we're going to make is a very gentle S curve. So starting close to that center dot that I made, it doesn't have to touch it. I'm just going to make an S curve that comes towards the bottom, doesn't touch the outer edge. Just a very nice relaxed S curve. And then to enclose this shape, we're going to make a curve, like a backwards C, around from the top to the bottom of that S curve. Not too wide, something like that. So it's maybe like a little fish or a paisley or something like that. And we're going to put 5 of these around our Zentangle. So I'm going to turn my tile so I can do just the same thing in the next space. So here's my nice relaxed S curve. And here's that reverse C that comes down and around to meet it. Don't worry about them being the same size or even necessarily the exact same shape. They're going to be variations. That's what makes it interesting, makes it alive. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my tile again so that my drawing hand stays in the same position and the tile moves underneath me. So again, a nice relaxed S. A reverse C. And when you're done with that, turn your tile. Another nice loose S. Okay, and I'm going to squeeze one more in between the one I just drew and the last one. And if it needs to, I'm going to draw behind and have it go underneath this one over here. So don't be afraid of that if that's what happens for you too. So it's a little tight. So I'm just going to have that loop underneath like that and come down. Okay, so it's lopsided, it's wonky, one goes under the other, it's all fine. So when you're going to want to do this again, you're going to experiment with adding more of those little shapes in all of these extra areas here. Well, that's what I did anyway. Have fun. It's a rabbit hole, but it is enjoyable. So just tuck that away for later. But we're going to keep it simple like this for right now. All right, so now if you can sort of go back to your first one, it doesn't matter, but it helps if you kind of have a home base. And we're going to aura inside. But it never touches the outer line that we just put down. I'm going to try to be consistent about the thickness, and I want it, it's a large aura. Give yourself some room because we're going to put a little pattern in this space later on. So leave yourself a little room. And we're going to go ahead and do that in all of these little paisleys kind of things that we drew. So go ahead and take your time. We're still with the black pen. We haven't changed yet. It's as if we're just sort of cutting out the center of each of these shapes that we just made. Okay. So again, this is sort of a variation on Elish, but it also reminds me of Fengle, if that is a tangle that you have heard of and done before. It's a little Fengle-ish as well. Okay, so now we're going to start with some overlapping. I'm actually going to get version number 4 that I was working on a manila folder earlier today. I did this section the best. Okay, so we're now going to make a piece that weaves through these paisleys that we made and curves around. So I'm actually going to start touching this paisley here, but I'm addressing this paisley down here. So have it be the one that's, facing down at the bottom. And I'm going to start by coming just to here. I'm going to pick up my pen and draw behind, and maybe you want to watch me do this once. Come through the center part of that paisley, and then come down, and I kind of loop under it like that. Okay, so I started up here. I drew behind that aura'd area that we drew. Then I actually put the line down here and then drew behind and imagined where it would come around and through. Okay, and now I'm going to aura that line just the same way. I'm going to give it a decent amount of thickness because again, we're going to put some stuff inside. So I started right here, coming down through here, and having it hook up at the bottom. Okay, so it was sort of the reverse direction of that first shape that we made, like a reverse S, and we just made it fall underneath that first paisley that we did. So we're going to do it again now. You need to watch again before we move on. Just watch me. So I'm going to start up at the corner of this one, but I'm coming in this direction. So I just curve down a little bit here. And then I imagine that line coming under here, carrying through here, lifting my pen, and curving down and around. So it's that reverse S shape that just gets tucked under that paisley. And then we aura it. Touch down, lift the pen, draw behind. Touch down, lift the pen, draw behind, and then come down and curve it around. Okay? Just focus on one little part of the line at a time. Okay, we're going to turn and do the same thing again. Okay, so I start at this corner and I'm coming in this direction. So here's that first little piece there. Imagining it underneath here, poking through, and then down and around. And then aura-ing it, drawing behind. Okay, turning my tile. One little piece of it there. It shows through here. Comes around there. And don't worry if it falls off the bottom of the page, it's okay. Aura it. Okay, last one. So a little bit tricky, but imagine that that line, that very first little bit of a line is underneath here because we can't really see where that would go. So I'm just going to start right here and curve that around. And this one here. Okay. So that's the basic shape with that cool woven L-ish thing happening. The rest is easy. That was the hard part. And if yours doesn't look like mine, just, stick with it and you'll have, you'll put some fun patterns inside and it'll be cool no matter what it is. Okay, so now we're just going to thicken this up a little bit. So if we go back, I don't remember which one was my first one, but this one, I always like to deal with the one that is at the bottom. For me, that's easiest. So I'm going to go from this intersection right here and just add just an extra band right there. I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around on each. It's the right hand side for me, the right hand side of each one of these L-ish things that we've made. And I'm not bringing it all the way down to the bottom. I'm ending it, a little ways from the end. Just a curve, turning my tile. Okay, and so then I came back around where I had already done one. So now I'm going to address the left-hand side of each one of these shapes. Same idea, just this little extra piece just to fill it out. It's like a pinwheel. And they're all going to be slightly different sizes. I'm just going to see where it makes the most sense to have them coming out. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the right side again. And these little pieces are getting smaller as we go. I'm just going to tuck another little one in here. Just a little thing there, turning my tile. Another little piece there. This one, there's more space, so I'm let this one be a little bit bigger. Tuck that in there. Again, this time around, I'm on the right-hand side each time. Okay, and then I'm just going to do one more time addressing the left part in this little space here, just putting one more little die in each one of these spaces here. You may end up with one more or one less, it doesn't matter. And I'm kind of lost track. I think this was where I started, doesn't really matter. Okay, that is our basic shape. How are we doing? It's a challenge, I told you. This took me a while. But now the rest is just filling in with patterns that are familiar. They come together in fun and unexpected ways. So lots of different possibilities. Okay, just looking to see what I was doing on all of these. Okay, so now when you're ready, cap your black pen and let's take the darker of the two gray pens. If you don't have a gray pen, just stick with the black, it's fine. But I'm using the darker of the two. And the first thing that we're going to do is, I'm going to go to this one because it has the most space, is a tangle called doodah, as in zippity doodah, because it looks like a zipper. Let me show you a bit larger first. Oh, I can't tangle on the back of a, hold on, let me find something to show you one. Okay, so the basic idea of doodah is, if this is the space we're working in, these two lines, one line comes down but doesn't touch the bottom, and then the next one comes from the bottom and doesn't touch the top. And you just alternate back and forth, top to bottom. Okay, so they pass by each other. It makes a zigzag, like a zipper. Does that make sense? Yep, okay, good. So we're gonna do doodah in these spaces here. So I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna follow around the curve, so coming up from the bottom and then top. And I'm gonna turn my tiles so that they might curve a bit as I go.
So Micah, I didn't make mine thick enough. There's no way this is gonna fit.
Okay. So maybe just hang out for this part for 1 second, and I'll give you, we're gonna work a different tangle in a different section in a minute. Maybe you just want to do some stripes, you know, some bands, or maybe just leave it. So
Micah, did you say this is with the lighter gray or the darker gray?
I'm with the darker gray.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. When I get to the bottom, like down here, I'm gonna just have it go all the way across this bottom section, just to keep it a little bit simpler. So I just went all the way down. And then I'm gonna go and do the same thing on the other side. So this was the top one that I started with. So then we go up from the bottom and just alternate back and forth.
We're doing that in all the little squigglies.
Yes. I'm gonna alternate because I get a little antsy with doodah if I have to do it for a very long time. So we're gonna alternate between two patterns, but yes, every one of these paisley shapes that we made will be doodah eventually. Okay, so just a nice little texture like that. I'm going to pause on doodah for a moment, but we will come back to it because, you know, there's 4 more that we're going to do that way. Take your black pen again for just a moment. And if at any point you forget to switch, it's not a big deal. So now we're going to look in this space that we made go underneath. And we're going to do a little bit of, oh my gosh, crescent moon, a little crescent moon. So just along the edges here, I'm with the black pen. just going to sort of have them alternate. Stuck one up here. Maybe one goes behind here. It can be different sizes. Okay, so I just put down those little ladybug shapes there with the black pen. Then I'm going to go back in with the dark gray and aura those little crescents with the dark gray. I'm just going around one at a time. Aura-ing.
For me, it's more like filling in almost.
Yeah, you fill in the
it's a little
background.
narrow. Yeah.
Yeah. I just need to get my glasses. I can't see. Yeah,
Dark gray or light gray?
I'm with the dark gray, but if you picked up the light gray, that's fine. Okay. And why it's convenient with the light gray, because then for me, I went to the next one and started back with Doodah again. And I found it enjoyable to kind of go between the two, Crescent Moon and Doodah, as I made my way around. So we're going to carry on like that for a bit, filling our paisleys. Go to the other side. Okay, and then when you finish that section of Doodah, you can go to your Crescent Moon, the layer underneath. Or if you prefer, you can do all of the Doodahs and then all of the Crescent Moons. And when you're ready to do the auras, go back to the gray. Okay, and then I'm just gonna turn my tile and go on to the next Doodah area. Always turning the tile. Just get a little tight. You just kind of hint at it. Going back to my black pen. I keep losing my reference tile. Ah, there it is. Just remember to breathe, stay present, focus on one stroke at a time. Enjoy the follow the leader of bringing down these little crescent shapes and then aura-ing, or just the back and forth of the doodah. Just creating texture, patterns within patterns, layers on layers. Gray is very subtle. It's also pretty forgiving. Just have fun with it. You can get sort of different shades even with the same pen, depending on how much you go over it. Okay, I'm on my last doodah section. Okay, and one last little crescent moon area. Sorry, thank you, Shelly. One more time, picking up my gray pen. Okay. So that's what we got so far. I'll give you a minute to get caught up. Everybody doing okay? Getting the hang of it? Okay, if you have a train wreck, you can go back and watch the video again tomorrow and try again. Okay, so let's see, what do we want to do now? So many different options, and I kind of did my own thing. I was watching the tutorial and decided to do different things. Let's take our light gray, the lightest of the light grays, and let's go ahead and put tipple, just some of our orbs, in these sections here. So you should have sort of a teardrop shape at the bottom and this kind of triangular shape here, you know, so that if you look at it all together, it's like one teardrop with this band. So maybe you have something like this ish. We're going to stick some tipple in this area and this area. So I'm going to start here. So they're just orbs. I actually think the light gray is a little bit light on the translucent tile. I'm gonna go to the medium gray, but if you want to keep going with the light gray, to me it's a little light. Yeah, I think it shows up a little bit better. Okay, so in there and also in this area down here. Okay, so we're going to go around and do that in all of these little spaces here. You know, and if you accidentally put tipple in in another area that you did not intend to, just keep going. It doesn't matter. Turning my tile. Sickle is a great texture tangle, especially with these grays. It really goes to the background, but it just adds so much. And if you go around the orb a couple times, that it gets darker with the gray. So you could have some that are lighter than others using all the same pen. That's pretty cool. All right, make something like that. So I think I want to add a little bit more drama, a little bit more ink and weight. So I'm going to go back to my black pen. And again, if this is sort of home base, you know, this is the each focal point, then hopefully you have this like one piece that's here, and you may have another one, a smaller one that's right there. I want to add some striping right in this one right here. So I'm going to turn my tile to the side just so I can draw evenly, and I'm just going to divide it up like so. I just made lines evenly, and then I'm going to color in every other one with black. Just adding weight and drama. Right, then I'm going to go find the next one. So I'm going to skip this section here. I'm going to make my stripes in this area over here. Again, I like to turn my tile to the side. draw my stripes. And then color every other one. And I'm using black, but if you have the gray in your hand still, that's fine. If you don't have an even number of these sort of extra added pieces, that's fine. I think it could be fun if the stripes are sort of thrown in a more randomized way also. I think it could work just fine. Okay, I'm going to turn my tile, skipping this section and looking at this section, put some more. So we had this very, very complex pattern that we drew as our meta pattern. And then we're filling with these more familiar, comfortable tangles. So we stretch ourselves a little bit, and then we get to relax into a bit of familiarity and comfort. And I like to operate that way, metaphor for life. Sometimes we push ourselves out of our comfort zones, and then hopefully we're allowed to return to a more comfortable place. Okay, I have these are getting kind of small over here, but I can still put some stripes in. And one more little section over here. Okay. I like that. That added a bit more drama. Let's fill in this little center here with our black pen with some more orbs. That way that little starting dot that we put in there kind of melts away. There we go. Great. So in some other iterations that I was working on in these, of course, because I'm obsessed with filling in every space in these areas, you know, I was putting printemps with the light gray and some little dots and things. Actually, we can do the dots. Let's do just some little dots in this one last little area here. I'm with the light, with the darker of the two grays, but I went back to the gray. I'm just going to make little dots in here. Just one more little texture in the smallest area. A little polka dot. Okay. I'm gonna leave well enough alone. I'm gonna cap my pen for right now. All right. So let's start to bring this tile to life with some shading. So I'm going to pick up my pencil, a very dull pencil, and I'm going to start by putting a nice amount of graphite down inside that the paisley, inside the middle of the paisley shape. It's a little hard to see, it gets kind of shiny in here. And then also going around the outside of the paisley shape. A nice, generous layer of graphite. Okay, so let's start there. We'll probably end up adding more. And add some on the inside. And then on the outside. I'm staying sort of in the shape though. I'm not going to go outside of the borders of the shape. If you did, that's okay. Okay, so you can kind of see what's happening here. When you've gone all the way around, you can go ahead and pick up your tortillon and do some blending. It gets very nice and smooth on the translucent tiles. And you can easily move the graphite around to places that you didn't even put down with pencil in the first place. So you can play with that as well. Just being careful not to make the whole thing one shade of gray. You want the variations light to dark. So I'm sort of bringing some graphite into these lower parts of each of these edges. I don't know exactly what to call them. Okay, so got something that looks like that. Very cool. Let's try, I'm not sure the white charcoal is going to show up real well on the 3Z, but let's play with it and see if we put a, oh, it does. We can put a little highlight in the middle of the striping, and maybe even on these parts we left unshaded, unfilled. Even put a little bit on the zippity doodah. Right down the center as a highlight. Hard to see on the screen. Can you tell here? There you go. You can see it a little bit if I tilt it. I don't really even bother blending the white. Let's see what's happening here. You can put some little highlights in the orbs in the center. And these ones over here. It's looking pretty cool. I feel like we're going to flip it over in a second, play on the back, but I feel like I want to go around the outside of the shape and just define it one more time in black. Even if you had a thicker black, you could do a heavier line around the outside. If you just have your 01 in black, maybe just use that. I have an 05 here. And I'm just going to go all the way around the outside and just reiterate, just to define it a little bit better after all the shading and all the pen work. Just helps it pop a little bit. We could even aura the whole thing. I'm kind of thinking that could look good too. These are all just options. I'm going to go around with a little aura again. When in doubt, aura it. Or when you're thinking about what to do next, aura it. I'm trying to keep my fingers off the tangles because now that the graphite and charcoal is on, if we touch that and then touch anywhere else, it'll end up in that place too. So just be mindful of that. Okay, just did another aura. So you can see the shading and the highlights. If I tilt it, you can see it better. Let's flip the tile over. And I'm probably going to go back to my black in a second, but I'm going to pick up my colored jelly roll and I'm going to add some color from the back side on the orbs. I think we did this last time too. I think it's really fun and I like the effect. So again, we don't have to do all of them. Or maybe we do. If we had more time, I might have us go all the way, go over this tangle basically from the back, make it two-sided. I'm going to color in some of the center ones too. Just going to take a peek, see how it looks on the other side. Oh, that's cool. You see it through. I was also thinking in the areas that we put the striping in, we could color in the alternating ones that were white with our color. It's very pretty from the back. You can see how that's shaping up. Look at it on this. Oh, that adds a nice little pop there on the other side. And while we're still on the back, let's go back to with our black pen. If you have an 05 or something, you can use that. If not, use your 01. And let's make this, pinwheel a little bit. Let's give it some motion. What do you draw if you want to show a hand waving? You just draw little lines on either side of it, right? And that sort of lets you know that something is in motion for drawing. So I'm going to look in these little V spaces and I'm going to go in and kind of make, like if we were drawing seagulls. I'm gonna do a little bit like that. And I'm gonna turn my tile and I'm gonna go over here and do the same thing. I'm sort of following the aura. Do 3 or 4 of them, whatever feels right. Have some little ones up here. Let's see, what does that look like on the other side? Yeah, that works nicely. And then how about we put our chop on the back? So it kind of shows delicately through the other side. If your chop will be backwards when you turn it around, think about that. I'm lucky M's look the same, forwards or backwards. Okay. So there you have it. Again, lots more we could do with this, but that's the basic Elish meets Fengle in a flower.
Micah, can you turn it back over so I can see the back one more time?
So in a second, I'll take my spotlight down and show you some of the others. So this is just on a white tile. And you can see I've added other little paisley shapes and was playing with the overlapping. This was a starter one that I kind of got frustrated with because it was very lopsided. Let's see if you're on the back. This one got real crazy. I was playing around with weaving. This one was going really bold. So they're all, just experimenting with different techniques. Oh, did I show you that one? Like I said, I did this a lot. That one I saw through to the end, and even though it did go through that ugly duckling phase, it ends up pretty cool. So, all right, let me take my spotlight off, and I want to see all of yours. Nice. Oh, wow, you did it. It worked. Well done. Oh, these look great. Amy, I wasn't sure about you for a while because you looked like you were just sitting there watching, but you did it. These look beautiful. Well done.
Very cool.
Phyllis,
Shelley,
did you
yours is
use?
gorgeous.
These are so cool. Phyllis, yours is kind of pink in the back. Is that what's coming
No,
through?
what happened? I couldn't get my computer on, so I missed where we started with the translucent tile. So mine's just a regular tile.
On the front. Oh, I love it.
So it, I guess, looks a little different.
It looks great.
And I
Well,
couldn't
Amy's
get that
got some
PlayStation.
nice color on hers too. These are beautiful. Really, really well done, everyone. I was worried because I thought I found it challenging. So But you all did a great job. And I hope
Good
that you
directions.
good
Yeah.
directions. Good. I'm glad it was clear.
Micah, I've always been afraid to tackle. I never even tried Elish because it just looked beyond what I thought I could do comfortably, but you really broke it down so well.
Good. I'm really glad. Well, and I watched Rick and Maria, sort of lead a version of this. So I'm learning from the masters and passing it on to you. So
I'm with Nan. I tried Elish and it frustrated the heck out of me. But
Yeah.
this is like kind of a different version of it that I think
Yeah.
works
Yes.
better than the original Elish, which
Yep.
I just found frustrating.
Yep.
I also think it's really important how the first paisleys that you put down, mine
Yes.
are not even. So I'm going to try it again and try to make them the same size.
Oh, I like the variations. I think like this one I made smaller ones kind of tucked in, and I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, don't be afraid to overlap. That's the real
so-
trick of this.
Marsha,
Yeah, when
I
I-
think yours looks like a sea animal. I feel
Yeah.
like it's something that's underwater.
It's like an anemone.
Yeah.
And I don't have a two-sided tile, so it's not really water.
Yeah. Yeah, and the original tile that they taught was not on a translucent one, so you do whatever
Yeah.
you
It was
got.
really funny when you said turn it over and do the other side. I said, oh, I guess we were supposed to use a translucent.
Oops, guess that's not happening. Ooh, what happens when you start to layer them? Well, then you got a lot going on. If you layer
Oh,
a
that's more than I can handle.
This
Very
is one of my favorite tiles. I really like the way this came out.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
thrilled.
this is beautiful.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Beautiful.
Very
I'm
different.
so happy. I was worried, but I'm glad.
Definitely looking forward to the recording. Try it again.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Okay.
do it again. Like as you can see, I have 6 versions here. Yeah, so have fun with it. Get creative,
Hey,
and then
Erica's
send.
saying
Are you
hello.
going to send
Send
out the
me-
recording or the link to the recording?
I will. It takes a little while to prepare it, and then when I have it, and they should be going up on the website.
Oh, great. Okay. 'Cause-
Okay.
Yeah, because I need last week's that I missed.
Yes. Well, if you email me, I can send it to you directly, but check the website. It should be there.
Okay.
Do I
Okay.
have
Thank you.
access to the website, or you have to be a
Thank
member?
you.
No, you don't have to be a member. You can
Okay.
just go on the streaming page, and there should be like past recordings, classes, something like that. Okay.
Thank you. Happy
You're
Mother's
welcome.
Day,
Everyone have a
everybody.
good night. No
Happy
class
Mother's
next.
Day.
No class
Happy
next
Mother's
week.
Day.
Right,
It's June 1st.
right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mike,
Bye.
you're going to record June 1st?
Yes.
Because I had next week scheduled, so I scheduled
Yep.
something for June 1st.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yep, I will record it. I'm getting better at remembering.
Thank you. Happy
right.
Mother's Day.
Tuesday. Good night, everyone.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.